This is Richard Devaney. I'm the Bacala Professor of Strategy at the Tuck School of Business, and I'm here with Keith Nosbusch, who is the Chairman and CEO of Rockwell Automation. Let's talk about Rockwell for a minute.
Sure.
I'm really intrigued by the big idea that you have, the connected enterprise. And I'd like you to explain a little bit for the audience what that means and how you're going to get there in kind of steps over time, and what's the big deal about it?
Well, let me start with the big deal of it. The big deal is we believe that the utilization of information will be the next quantum step in improving productivity for manufacturers. It will no longer just be about automating the production processes, but also utilizing real-time information to be able to make better, quicker business decisions, and to be able to do that at many different levels in an organization. And the connected enterprise is really how do we connect the plant floor with the enterprise and then out across the supply chain. And so decisions can be made faster about what happened to a machine, what about the supplier, what's the demand, how can I produce to meet the new demand. All of this will be able to be generated from the information and the capabilities of the plant floor. And historically, the plant has lived in isolation of the business system and the supply chain. And we see over time where this has got to become connected, and we have to create an environment where that information can flow seamlessly, but yet create a secure environment so that the plant floor is protected from any external perturbation.
So how are you planning to get there? It's right now, we know of your excellence in process control, but you're now talking about interconnectivity, information flow, business analytics, all sorts of other kinds of things, connections to new sensors. So technologically, this is a bit of a moonshot. So how are you breaking it down into bite-sized chunks so you can get there?
Well, I think you have to your point, we have to look at this as how do we do it in steps. It is, no company will do it all at one point in time. So you got to be able to create an environment and an infrastructure that is future-proof. First of all, it's creating that environment, and we think working with partners. We have a very strong partner with Cisco for the network infrastructure, because all of this must be run on standard unmodified Ethernet so that you get the benefits of what the IT world has today, and that is unified communications where you can do data, you can do voice, you can do information, you can do security, you can do all of the dimensions of mobility, and you can do that over one common network. So video will become much more important on the plant floor. And so the first step is creating the infrastructure that enables this to occur, and then providing applications, which could be done with consulting or with services, where we can help the customer deploy those applications at the pace and at the rate that they would be capable of doing it. And we have to do all of this with an understanding that we must create a secure environment so that we can run a connected enterprise, and to be able to make the IT department and the plant people feel comfortable with allowing this interaction to occur and for the connections to occur. And this all has to take place in the world that we all currently operate in, which is one that is becoming more complex with respect to the security issue.
So how is your competitive advantage going to shift? What was it 5 years ago? What is it today? And what's it going to look like in this connected enterprise world that you're creating?
Well, certainly 5 years ago, our greatest competitive differentiation was in the technology and the products that we manufactured. We'll see that continue to be important because we talk about the power of and while we want to continue to have great products, we also want to be able to have services and solutions which get delivered because of our domain expertise. So our knowledge and how we operate the connected enterprise and how technology enables our customers to be more competitive, more productive, and more sustainable, we need to make sure that we are able to help our customers utilize and take advantage of the great technology that we will be providing in these products. So we see the need to have greater knowledge of a customer's application, the industry that we're working in, and then from a pure technology standpoint, this requires more and more emphasis on software and firmware and communication and security technologies and knowledge than we would have had 5 years ago.
So how are you going to get those expertise?
We will acquire companies to fill technology gaps and the ability to bring in new talent that has expertise in the areas where either we don't have critical mass or we don't have knowledgeable people at this point in time, and we see it as an area that we have to grow, and we can't wait to grow it internally. So acquisitions will be part of that. We also are firm believers in developing the talent that we have. And so putting together programs that enable our top performers today to remain top performers. And as long as they have that continuous learning belief and are willing to continuously learn, we will be able to help them develop the new skills that are most critical for our future.
Tell me a little bit more about how you see this kind of shift in manufacturing to more and more automation and more control in this, through the cloud or through the internet, and more information sharing. How is that going to help create jobs in the United States, or and help bring manufacturing back home?
Well, by itself, I don't think it'll necessarily bring manufacturing jobs back, but it will enable manufacturers to remain globally competitive. And I think that's what's most important, is how do we have a vibrant, competitive manufacturing sector? And we think because of automation and because of the use of real-time information, that we can continue to help manufacturers stay globally competitive and be able to help them offset whatever may be the disincentives that they would see normally producing in the United States. So it's a way of maintaining and growing a vibrant manufacturing sector, and at the same time allowing that sector to be competitive on a global scale.
Geographic maneuvering and positioning, very important to your business, because the locus of manufacturing is changing around the world.
Yes.
Your core is still in the United States. You have very strong competitors in Europe, some growing regional competitors in Asia. As you expand into Europe and expand into Asia, what kind of competitive responses are you getting, and are they coming back at you in the U.S.? And how are you protecting your core market?
Mm-hmm. Well, certainly we have very strong competitors, particularly in Europe. The Europe market is a large market, and I think we've been able, with our focus, to be able to outperform the underlying market in the last couple of years. And I really think it's the focus that we've been able to develop growth, and that focus is on machine builders, OEMs. It's in the oil and gas industry. It's with some of our intelligent motor control products, and it's really in the emerging markets in Asia as well. That has enabled us to continue to grow even in a very difficult economic environment. With respect to Asia, the Asian competitors, in particular the Chinese competitors, are not really part of the global automation world yet. So most of the competition with them resides in China. And I think there, the sophistication of the Western technology still is stronger than the Chinese, although they are learning and coming up quickly. I think most companies still believe that the technology from outside of China is stronger. That won't last forever. We don't have to face the Chinese competitors in our home market yet, but certainly we see that on the horizon. And the way we take on all competitors is we just have to keep innovating. And innovation is the lifeblood of any technology company. And certainly, while we think we're the thought leaders in many areas, the connected enterprise as well, that we'll be able to continue to evolve our business strategy and execute that strategy in a way that keeps us ahead and allows us to continue to provide that differentiation that is so critical for our long-term success.
So it's like the old joke about the two guys in the woods and the bear chasing them. You don't have to outrun the bear, you just have to outrun the other guy.
Well, that's exactly the philosophy. We have to run faster than our closest competitors and keep the distance between those that are further behind now. And, and that's why innovation is so important to us.
Great. Well, Keith, thank you very much. We really appreciated you doing the interview as well as coming to the Tech School.
Well, thank you very much.